So, with the weather being so abominable, my plans for getting on with repotting the larch and loads of other stuff has just had to go by the wayside. Even down by my my sort of semi-sheltered spot at the back of the garden, it's just too wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through what was going to be my first video. And it was about the brush cherry. I think it's also known as myrtle. Probably has a few other names, but I actually did work on it, and it was my first play with using video about 3 weeks ago. Which, funny enough, has given it an opportunity now to send out its new shoots. I thought I'd actually done it a little bit early. I'm going to take you for a 360 twirl on this one, and then hand you straight over to the next video. Without much further ado, let's take a spin of this brush cherry and then on to the main feature. I want no comments from you down below. I know my ceramic man seems to find a life of his own, and I'm sure he's going to have something to say, but anyway, let's get on with it. Hello, Xavier from Expressions of Grace Bonsai. I'm here to talk to you about this brush cherry, or Syzygium. I'm not going to try and spell it, I can barely say it. What I'll be doing today is to do a light prune, just back to shape, but really what I want to concentrate on is the wiring. A lot of the branches now need to have some direction applied to them and some sorting out. I certainly don't intend to go through and show you the whole process. There's a lot better content creators out there, and I'm sure you know them by now. But really, I think it's just a case of showing you what I can do. But all I'll normally do before I do any work is just following in the direction of the blade, just a few, and then I'll swap over and do the same on this one. Always important that you keep the plane in line with the grindstone and try to do a similar number. I know for a fact already these are quite sharp. My first ever set of shears was well, you can see they're rusty because when I first had them I didn't take care. But these have actually had some restorative work done on them, and the blades on these are as sharp as ever. And looking at this one, I've actually realised that the front is better off this way around. Much prefer the movement in the lower trunk, but also it's easy to give a clear definition of some primary branch structure and secondary branches coming from it. And looking from this immediately, it's clear. If I take that away, we've got some branches here that are sticking out. We've got branches that are coming from junctions of 3. But yeah, so what I'll do is I'll just slowly cut away, and bear in mind that with wiring, you may well be wiring to shape, and we sort of twist the wire around and in the direction that we want when we're trying to do the shape. So, you know, the one that you think's upper now and removed may actually be a lower one. But I'm going to do a little bit of trimming now and see how we get on with it. Just to say just to see the example here is that I've got the forking of 2. I removed that third one that was coming up. But I've actually got here 2 very healthy looking bifurcations, 2 here, 2 here. But they at the moment cross each other. So what my intention will be is to wire them, just spreading them slightly further apart and see if we can gain some separation from the branches. And the other thing I'll try and do is actually lower one and put one higher up. And again, on this side, if I keep it, you've got a branch here that is going straight up. I may be able to wire it down and across, which looks like I will be able to, so that should resolve that. And again, if you see any stubs or anything from old pruning, remove those as well. And this is when you'll see how sharp your shears are, that's for sure. And the other thing to do while you're looking is you've got a good chance to have a look within the growth itself, just to make sure you haven't got any insects or bugs. So at the moment in my head I'm just selecting really how I'm going to do my wiring, taking stubs off, cleaning up structures as I go along. That will wire. Wire down, definitely. Looking at it, I don't know if you can see, probably got the wrong camera in there, but right at the end there where I'm moving it, there's a gap. So it means any cutting I have to do, I actually have to do further into the shear. Now I'm getting space, I can see how this is going to wire out. I've got, looking at this, I've got a branch coming up here and then a lot of branches there, but straight up I've got a nice strong horizontal there and a horizontal there. And for the sake of this one, although there's certainly separation here, so it's not three coming off one junction, it may well be that I'll sacrifice a little bit of this extra growth so that I can start trying to define what the actual branch structure is going to be. Clean it up. So I'm going to be wiring this branch and this branch. To be fair, these are very, very rigid, so I'm not going to be able to actually get movement in there, but what I do want to try and just try and lower it down and maybe do something here and just flare this out. So, because I know it's quite rigid, I'm going to pick gauge a wire on that. It's probably half the thickness of the branch, but I know where I want it for. I actually want it near the end here. And again, with wiring, the direction that you do your turn, so if I'm turning that way with the wire, so that's away from the camera, then that's the way I'm going to be bending any branch. And again, I think Bonsai Mirai, Grow Bonsai, Darren, they do some excellent sort of videos on wiring, but you're looking at where you want to come from. So I know that I'm going to be turning, I want to turn the branch that way, so I need my loops to be going that way, which means I'll enter from under. You watch, someone will tell me I'm coming from the wrong way, but this is from the experience of how I do it. So again, and I'm not going to labour it, I'm a clumsy hand. Okay, firm. And there we go. Okay, so I'm looking where I want that to be coming up to here. I'm going to do a naughty because I actually want the branch to go another way. So taking tightly, holding with the forefinger to give the support. The wire is actually going to be coming towards me, and you just keep moving and making sure you support as you apply the wire. Now by this stage the wire gauge is thicker than I need, so just be a little bit careful, because the more we move around, the more risk there is of damaging. Okay, so I'll leave it there for now. There's the riding structure around here, and then I'm going to continue here supporting the base and then just turning out, support. And again, I just need to have a look and see which of the branches I want to manipulate. What I want to try and do is create separation on this one, so I'm going to be pulling that one down. So again, supporting into the crutch. Again, by now the gauge of wire is a little thick. It's all about support, so very carefully making sure you're always supporting the branch. You don't get any leaves caught or trapped in there. That's that wired out. And again with this one, just have a look here. I'm probably going to be looking at this one, so I will take this under there. And I don't use copper wire because, do you know what, I haven't got any. And you'll often heard it say that you want to have good levers. And when we talk about good levers, if you look here, I've got such a small amount of wire left, I can barely support it with my thumb, which means I'm not able to control the twist without actually affecting the wire. You really want to have wire out to here so you can lever it and not cause damage to the tree itself. So I'll leave it there for now. So again, turning in the direction, again very carefully. You're always looking. Now I've never done any wiring on a brush cherry. It looks brittle. Just create some separation. And when you're doing the movements, obviously you're looking at doing your bends ideally where a branch comes out from. So if a branch comes out from here, that will be one of your bending points. That creates separation to the next branch, which will hopefully develop. I mean, I look at something like this. These are the two that I want. There's a branch here and a branch here. This one, at the moment, isn't doing anything particularly good, but I know that if I let that grow out and bifurcate, then I may well be able to get a pad up here higher from this one. So I'll leave that for now. Also let that one come out. And so it's just about creating spare space and a little bit of room for you to be able to see what you want to do. So never dealt with a brush cherry, so we'll see how that goes. At the moment the general direction is down, and as I think Ryan would often tell you on Bonsai Mirai, they go down and up, down. He does his teapot impression. I'm not going to do a teapot impression. And this could probably have a little upward slant to it, but well, I'm happy with that. He says as he gives it a little upward. Yeah. Okay, so it's done the aim. The aim was to create the pattern to thin it out. So, and looking here, again, I'm going to put some wire on this and this. I'll just leave this a little bit extra in case I'm going to loop it over. But now, follow that back to where I was going to go, which I cannot quite remember whether I was. Oh, I know what I was going to do. So I was going to be bringing it. Going to be bringing it to this one. I probably haven't given myself enough wire, so I might do an ugly wire move here to do it. As I say, it's always good to just thin out a little bit of the lower growth so you can actually get to the base of some of these branches. things off. Okay, so they're wired up as well. And now, because I'm now confused about where I want my front to be, I really can't decide to go there or there. Okay, here I'm going to be bending in the direction of the wire. Trial and error a lot of the time. Trial and error. So how you can create that separation that you wish. I'll see how that develops, but I don't know if you can see it all. What I've just got now is I've just twisted that right around, so now these branches have got separation between them and here. Now I know that I can just do a little bit more pruning on that. And you won't be able to see through it, but there's a shoot here which is now horizontal, so we'll have two coming out hopefully. And I've also now created a lot more separation. It's about a 70 degree angle there now. Okay. So I have decided in the end to pair it on the back branch. See if I can put a bit more movement into that. And this is where I find out that I haven't left myself enough wire to do this properly, but we'll soon see. So, and now because I'm going to do that, I'll be taking it under. And then this is where I get lazy straight up. There we go. And the good thing is you can already see that it's telling you which way it's going to bend, which way it's going to come round. That's what I want to achieve. And it's the other one that's causing the issue. And this is the point where you're most likely to break, because you've done all the major wiring on this lower section, you think you've got it sorted, and you've just been a little bit quicker and less careful than you ought to be. So anyway, okay. Hopefully this is actually you're actually going to be able to see what I've done. But anyway, so right, so we've got this one wired up now. This is wired, and also I wired the back branch here. Just need to finish applying that. But I think you'll have to agree that now I've created, at least you may not agree with where you'd have your branches, and you may remove this one, I'm not sure, that may still disappear. But I've got clear lines. I've got a branch here, here, here. You can see the branches. You can also see where the secondary as well as primary and secondary is coming off. And then we'll get some little tertiary stuff coming up. But I think it's about opening the tree up and helping you to find what it is you want to do. So I'm now going to go ahead and muck about with that. I'll put the camera on in a little bit when I've cleaned that all up, and then do some more wiring. But hopefully with this brush, you've certainly seen from the lower part how it looks. And yeah, I'm still not decided on the front, to be honest. Yeah, that's got to be the back, and the reason why is unless I'm going to remove that branch, it's coming straight out at us. So yes, I think this little brush cherry, that's okay. So just spent another 20 or so minutes removing more than I intended. You see the original structure down here, but now what I've done is, well, you'll see now, I'll show you a before and after here, but I've really thinned it out. and these were originally sticking up and in front towards us, whereas now what I've done is use the wire to bend them that way and down. Same with the back, it's now going up and out, so creating a nice bit of layers between here and here. And I think whether we call this negative space or whatever, I'm terrible with phrases. If you want to learn about the technical phrases, then go listen to Ryan or Darren. I'm a bit more of a this bit, that bit, and bend it that way and this way, to be perfectly honest, because I don't know my terms. I might try practicing swallowing dictionaries and practicing the nuance of the English language, but yeah. So anyway, so that's where we are there now. So all I've got to do now is do exactly the same with the apex. And to be fair, I'm really happy with creating this basic structure. So I'm more than likely just going to be just shortening all of these shoots to 2 or 3 and just thinning out. So we'll come back when I've done that. Here we are now to the the finished product. I ended up putting wire on, just changing the structure a little bit. But hopefully you can see from there that what we've actually now got is clear defined branch lines. We've got clear layers. There may well be still too many branches or too much length, but looking at that, I feel like you're looking at the start of a bonsai from there. I mean, yes, it's on the classic design, so that I love this trunk here. I really do. I think it's fantastic. That's what sold me on it when I first found it. How much did I pay? I think I paid £5 for it. Again, one of my favourite wholesalers, Xavier Nurseries in Bedford. But, prices have gone up a lot more since the trouble we've had since the virus and all the transport and costs involved in that. But I guarantee you probably still get good bargains from there. But yeah, I'm really quite happy with that, and just give it a spin for you. Yeah, definitely like that. I don't know whether you call it dynamic, dramatic, whatever, but it's, I mean, I've spent probably an hour, and it's probably taking a bit longer because I've had to try and wire some view of hopefully people seeing what I'm doing. But it's taken a bush or a shrub that had a good base trunk, and then with just a little bit of wiring techniques, and my wiring isn't the best. It's worth the effort. I mean, for the first 10 years, I was one of these people who say, I never wire trees, I'm going to do it by the natural method and let it grow. But in the end, no matter how much I try, there are some people who can do it. I think Nigel, he doesn't do much wiring, but the type of trees he uses and the patience, he's able to still produce high quality trees. I discovered that since I started to wire trees, although it takes 3 times as long and I've got to take the wire off and watch it, I'm able to get much better results quicker. There's no right or wrong, but I think there's some trees, some designs that you just have to accept that wire is required, and you've got to take the time and learn how to do the wiring. And again, I'll say it again, Bonsai Mirai, he does some excellent wiring demonstrations, and it's definitely well worth having a look on his site. And he does a lot of free content on YouTube as well. That's it for my brushed cherry. I shouldn't be doing anything with that for about a year. Thought I'd just give you an idea of some of those shoots and how they're progressing. As I say, it was cut about 3-4 weeks ago, and I think you can see clearly there it's producing shoots from every single cut side, and this is just the lower branch that was wired, and on closer examination at each point that it's cut, it's promoted shoots from either side of the leaf node. So I'm getting the natural bifurcation I wanted. I've never dealt with brushed cherry, so I wasn't sure how it would react, but it has at each of the cut sites. We've got 2 new shoots coming out from the buds, so that will give me 2 from 1, and that seems to have applied right across
the range of the tree. I'm sorry, that was my stomach telling me that you need to feed it, and I'm sure my little man has had something to say about that. Hopefully the studio is going to work out a little bit better. I'm trying to set it up so that I can do some decent filming, get some decent light without having to do the adjustment on the film editor itself. And for information, if anyone wants to know what editor I'm using, it's really old, but still the best one I've had for a while. It's the AVC film editor. That's it for my brush cherry. I promise I've definitely got my my bonsai catwalk coming up, and you'll get to see what that is fairly soon. And I've also got three more YouTube productions ready to go, and the most notable one, hopefully, will be the first of one of the in-depth topics I was going to do, which is talk about finding out and dealing with my father's Alzheimer's, and how I ended up becoming a carer and basically making the decision to leave my real job behind. Cheers.